Hello dear students, I am Mr. Madhav Dudhate from Department of English, Yashwant Mahavidyalaya, Nanded. I welcome you all in the online video lecture series by our Department of English for BA, BCom, BSc compulsory English students. And today in this series I am going to deal with the unit 2nd, poetry, and among that I am dealing with the first poem, that is The Gift of India by Sarojini Naidu. You might have known about Sarojini Naidu. Sarojini Naidu is one of the most important Indian freedom fighter. Naidu was born in 1879 and she was died in 1949. She was born in Hyderabad to a Bengali family. Naidu was studied at Chennai and London. Sarojini Naidu was the greatest Indian poet, a freedom fighter, political activist, and also she was proponent of civil rights and women's emancipation. She was the important figure in India's struggle for independence, and Sarojini Naidu fought for the attainment of Purna Swaraj, that is total independence, that is from the British Raj or the British government. Naidu also earned a nickname because of her literary career, and that nickname was Nightingale of India, and this title has been given to her by Mahatma Gandhi. Sarojini Naidu was also president of Indian National Congress for some time, and later on she was appointed as the governor of United Provinces. Now this United Provinces, presently we know it as Uttar Pradesh, and she served there from the independence to 1940 till her death, 49 till her death. Sarojini Naidu was the first Indian woman to be appointed as the governor. So this was the beginning. Miss First Lady, she became the governor in India. Naidu throughout her life composed many poems, and most of her poems that has been collected and published under poetry collections. There are some of important poetry collections here, and here you can see The Golden Threshold, then The Bird of Time, The Broken Wing, The Indian Weavers, and etc. So we will move on, or we will have a short introduction to the poem. The present poem, titled as The Gift of India, was originally composed in 1950. Okay, so it was composed in 1915 but published later in her collection of poetry, that is The Broken Wings, in 1970. This is a patriotic poem. Okay, it is a tribute to Indian soldiers in First World War. As we know, World War I had started in 1914 and it ended in 1918. So this poem is a tribute to the Indian soldiers who fought in the World War I. The present poem also concentrates on the Indian soldiers making ultimate sacrifice for someone else's war. Yes, we are saying someone else's war. It means First World War was not the India's war, and India was not the participant of the First World War directly, because at the time, or the then time, India was under control of the Britishers, and we had the British government in India, and that's why the British government has taken Indian soldiers to First World War. to fight for them. And so Naidu focuses on the Indian soldiers who have sacrificed their life in Britishers' war. The title, The Gift of India, it also suggests many different things. And she talks about different gifts that has been given by India to the world, that is to the Western world, to the Eastern world, because India has been looted by many countries. Among that, the Westerns, Britishers are there, the most important looters of India. After that, Portuguese, French, Dutch. Before that also we have some Muslim rulers, particularly from eastern part, such as Ghazni, Abdali. Okay, you might have known about them. So this present title, The Gift of India, it suggests different gifts given by India to the world. And she talks in detail about that in the poem. She also talks about the negligence of Indian soldiers. Okay, along with the gifts, different gifts the India has given to the West, that is food, clothes, diamond, gold. So many such a things has been given by India, or it has been looted from India by the different countries. And the most important gift she is talking in this present poem, that is the Indian soldiers. This is also a gift given by India to the Britishers. And this poem, despite having great share in the war, the Indian soldiers has been neglected. They have been not given honor, a response, proper response by the British governments, and she talks about that throughout this present poem. Actually, the poem is very simple and elegant also. The poem's rhyming scheme is AABBCC, and this poem has 4 stanzas of 6 lines. And all these 4 stanzas, they contains couplets, means 2 lines. And actually, every 2 line of every stanza, first beginning 2 lines, they introduces an idea or create a image or a picture. And the next 2 lines of the poem that builds that idea or the picture. And the final 2 lines of the stanza, it gives a small and concise or brief conclusion for that particular stanza. In many anthologies, the present poem, it has been treated as a whole piece, undivided piece. But in some of the anthologies and in on some of the websites, it has been divided in 4 different stanzas, and with the help of that we can understand the poem easily, because every stanza, it gives a particular meaning, particular idea it talks about, and that's why we have divided it into 4 different stanzas. The speaker of the poem is Mother India. Also, Mother India, we can use another title for that also, the collective mothers of India also. Means Mother India as a collective mothers of India talking to the West, particularly to the Britishers. And it also would be called as a ode, because an ode is something, okay, or it is a poem that mourns on the death of someone or for the loss of something. And similarly here also in this poem we can find lot of deaths of Indian soldiers. Sarojini Naidu has talked about the death of Indian soldiers, the martyrdness of Indian soldiers who died in First World War, and she continuously talks about that, and that's why we can call it also as a ode. Now, before going to the poem, we must know a little history about First World War and how India get participated into the war and how they have been treated there. So this we have to know first. The First World War, It has been started in 1914 between two powers. As we know, these two powers are the Allied powers and the Central powers. And in these Allied powers, we have, see, Great Britain, France, Russia, Italy, Romania, Japan, and United States. And in the Central power, we have Germany, Austria, Hungary, Bulgaria, the Ottoman Empire. So this here we can see the colors. Okay, these Allied forces, it has been depicted by yellowish color, and then the Central powers, that has been depicted by dark, a bit orange color. So these countries, as we are seeing in the image, that has the participant of war, and there are some other countries which are in pink color. They haven't participated in the war, like Spain and Sweden, all this. So how India get into the war? Yes, India was not the direct participant of the war, but at that time, at the time of the war, the Britishers had their control over India. In India, we had British government, and so the British government took Indian soldiers to fight for them, and in this way the Indian soldiers get involved into the First World War. The British government had taken Indian soldiers to fight for them against their enemies. Now if we calculate the numbers, then we can find near about over 15 lakh soldiers served overseas. You see how big number it is. 15 lakh Indian soldiers they have served in the First World War, and among that 75,000 Indian soldiers died during the war. 75,000 Indian soldiers. Okay, and near about 60 to 70,000 Indian soldiers, they get injured or mutilated during the war period. And all this happened. Okay, so there is a reason behind that, why such a great number of Indian soldiers died into it, and that is because of the policies of British government. As we know, the Britishers were always culprit, and they also arranged such policies so that Indian soldiers would be at the front in the war. The Indian soldiers had been given difficult tasks, dangerous tasks has been given to them. They were sent near to the enemy camps, and because of that many Indian soldiers lost their lives in the First World War. Now whatever they have been given, whatever had been ordered to them, they did that. But then also the British government hasn't noticed Indian soldiers' sacrifice in that war. Okay, even after death also, many Indian soldiers died there, and even after their death they haven't paid due respect for the bodies of Indian soldiers. They buried them in mass graves without any rituals. Now see, when a person dies, or in our India also, now also if we see any soldier get died, then he has given proper respect, honor. Okay, so all rituals, military rituals, then his religious rituals, all will be combined, and he will be given the burial ceremony. But such a burial ceremony had not organized for Indian soldiers by the Britishers in the First World War. They have been buried in the trenches, and common mass graves has been organized. Here you can see below that these are the trenches, and the bodies has been put there, and they just finish it here itself. Because in India we have different religions. India is a multi-religious country, and we have several religion here: Sikhs, Muslims, Hindus. So many different religions are there, and many soldiers were there from these prominent three religion from India, but any of them, they haven't given any religious rituals or either any martyred rituals. They even don't call them as martyred. Yes. And in opposition to that, okay, so this was about Indian soldiers, but in opposition to that, if we just look at this image, okay, you can find out these are the British soldiers, the white soldiers. They have died in the First World War. And these white bodies were taken home by flights. They have been given utmost honor, respect by the Englishmen, by the Britishers. There were welcome ceremonies for them. Their bodies has been welcomed in England first, and after that the proper burial ceremony was conducted for them. Means this was completely an injustice. Okay, their bodies, the white soldiers' bodies, they have been given utmost respect, honor, everything has been provided to them. But this has not been provided to the Indian soldiers. The dead British soldiers were celebrated as war heroes. Okay, and posthumous awards were presented to their widows. Means whoever was there who died in the First World War by the British sides, they have been paid utmost respect. They were celebrated as war heroes, and different awards were given to their wives, to their widows. The facilities has been given to their family. Okay, the facilities has been given to their children. They were given facilities, they were given scholarships for future studies and recruitments. The reservations has been given to them. But Indian soldiers didn't get any such facility by the British governments. But the dead Indian soldiers, they don't have any such a consideration. Nothing was given to them. They were even not given the status of martyrs. Okay, means they were not called as martyrs. They were not soldiers for the Britishers. Nothing was there. The War Office only sent the telegrams to their relatives informing the death of their near ones. Nothing more than that. Yes, you will get a telegram, and in it we can find out that your near one, the name would be there. He has been died in the war. So this information only was given to the family members of that soldier, even not his body. Nothing was there, no any honor was there. Nothing has been given to the Indian soldiers, which was completely against the British soldiers or white soldiers. Now we will move on to the poem. First we will read the poem. Okay, so just see, there are two stanzas in the first slide. Is there aught you need that my hands withhold? Rich gifts of raiment or grain or gold. Lo, I have flung to the east and west priceless treasures torn from my breast, and yielded the sons of my stricken womb to the drumbeats of duty, the sabres of doom. Gathered like pearls in their alien graves, silent they sleep by the Persian waves, scattered like shells on Egyptian sands, they lie with pale brow and brave broken hands. They are strewn like blossoms mown down by chance on the blood-brown meadows of Flanders and France. The next stanza. Can you measure the grief of the tears I weep, or compass the woe of the watch I keep, or the pride that thrills through my heart's despair, and the hope that comforts the anguish of prayer, and the far sad glorious vision I see of the torn red banner of victory. The last stanza. When the terror and tumult of hate shall cease, and life be refashioned, and anvils of peace, and your love shall offer memorial thanks to the comrades who fight in your dauntless ranks, and you honor the deeds of the deathless ones. remember the blood of my martyred son. Now, see, if we read this poem, all the 4 stanzas, after that we come to know that Naidu, she has talked about different things. She has talked about what India has given. She has talked about the Indian soldiers who were died in the First World War. Yes. Now we will move on to the stanza, and line by line we will see the meaning of it and explanation of this. Now if we move on to the first stanza, then we can see the rhyming words. Okay. The first 2 stanza, so first 2 lines of the first stanza, if we see, there is withhold and gold. In the second 2 lines, we can find out breast and west. Yes. And the final stanza, it says worm and doom. So all these are the rhyming scheme which indicates AA, BB, CC. Yes. So the poem begins with ease, that is a rhetorical question. Yes. And in the very beginning of the poem, Sarojini Naidu asks a rhetorical question to the Westerners, to the world particularly. And she asks, is there aught you need that my hands withhold? Withhold means held back. Yes. Withhold means held back. And she asks, is there aught you need that my hands withhold? Is there something that you wanted and that I have ever held back? Miss, whatever I had, it has been taken by different countries, different persons. Miss, India has given so many different things to the world. I haven't taken. Okay, it is not a question, but throughout this rhetorical question, she is telling to the world that India has given. Miss, there is nothing is remained that has to be taken by the others from India. And in the very next line she says, rich gifts of raiment or grain or gold. India has given to the world the rich gifts, that is raiment. Raiment means cloth. Grain means food, and gold. So many different things that has been given by India to the Westerners. And if we see, okay, the Britishers who have mostly taken from the India. And here you can see there is the number, okay, which indicates the British looted $45 trillion, okay, and that is the today's value. Whatever the Britishers has looted from India at that time, if we calculate the value of that in today if we calculate them, then we can find out the number which comes $45 trillion. Now $45 trillion, okay, if we calculate it into the Indian rupees, then we get the number 3,371 lakh crore rupees. Now see, it is numerous, even we cannot count that much money. Yes, so that much has been taken by the India. So this is the from an article by Jaishankar, and in the beside image we can find out there is a work written by Shashi Tharoor, the contemporary Indian writer, and he has composed the work An Era of Darkness, the British Empire in India. And throughout this work he talked about different loots, injustices the Britishers done with the Indians, and whatever and how, in what way they have looted India, that has been communicated in this by Shashi Tharoor. So the Britishers, they have taken a lot of different things. Yes, she says in the very next stanza, she elaborated it again, the idea, first 2 stanzas or the first image, she has elaborated it in detail. Lo, I have flung to the east and west. Yes, priceless treasures torn from my breast. Now see, Mother India is speaking, and she is our motherland. Mother India, the earth, anything, so many different synonyms would be there for this. And she is talking to the West or to the world that I have flung to the East and West. Means she have already looted by East and West. So many countries have looted India. Not only the Britishers, but before that we had Portuguese were there, French were there, Dutch were there. So many countries, they came to India, they invaded and they looted India. Before that also India was looted by the Eastern countries, some of the Eastern countries, and among that particularly the Muslim Afghanistan and Turkish kings. And among that we have Ghazni, Khilji, Abdali. Okay, so these rulers, they also have looted India in the past period. I think near about 1002 before Britishers or before the colonies in India. So in this way, in different parts of India or the different parts that has been captured by different rulers, and they have taken as much they can from India. And what they have taken? The priceless treasures plucked from my heart. Okay, the priceless treasures torn from my breast, means that is plucked from her heart, means so many different things. The food which we get from the Mother Earth, yes, the cotton, okay, the grain we get from it, the cotton we get from it, okay, means whatever is there in India, in the heart of the India, the Mother India, so it has been plucked out and it has been taken by different countries. And she is talking about this in these 2 lines. Next, and yielded the son of my stricken womb to the drumbeats of duty, the sabres of doom. Now see, again more priceless element than these gifts. These gifts she has given it already. Yes, she has given gold, she has given clothes, she has given food to the world. Again, more important than that, she has given one thing, and she is talking about the Indian soldiers, that is her sons. She has given her sons to fight for the Britishers. Yes, that is the priceless treasure that has been given by Mother India to the world, to the Britishers. For what she has given it? She has given it to the drum beats of duty, means to the duty of the Britishers. They have been sent from India, they have been sent overseas to fight for the Britishers. And the sabres of doom. The sabres of doom is to sacrifice themselves for the others, to follow the orders, to be perished at the hands of enemy. So in this way, she talks about her son, the Indian soldiers. That is the priceless gift India, the Mother India, she has given to the Britishers. Now, so overall, if we see in this first stanza, we can find out she has talked about different things that has been given by Mother India to the world, to the Britishers. She has given gold, food, cotton, okay, clothes, so many different things. And even at the time of World War also, India, means there was British government in India, and they have taken so many things. They have provided food to their different allied forces or their friends, other countries with them in the First World War, and they have provided food from India to them. They have taken so many elements, so many cloth, food from India, and that has been provided to the soldiers in the First World War along with their side. So she has given food, clothes, and all these things, but more important than that, she has given her sons, the Indian soldiers, okay, that is stricken womb. Stricken means, yes, that is the beating, injured womb. Injured means, see, when she is offering her sons to fight for someone else and they are getting died there, so automatically every mother would be sad for that. And sadly, she has given her sons also for the Britishers to fight for them in the First World War. So now we will move on to the second stanza. gathered like pearls in their alien graves. Now see, it begins with the dead bodies of Indian soldiers. Okay, the soldiers who had died in the First World War. And here Mother India is talking about these soldiers, and she say, gathered like pearls in their alien graves. Alien graves means foreign graves. They have been died there. The Indian soldiers, they have died in the alien graves. Alien means foreign graves, and they died there itself, and they were buried there. In the introduction we have seen how they have buried in a mass graves. So they have died. And next line she says, silent they sleep by the Persian waves. And then she talks which are the foreign graves. Okay, so the foreign graves, that are Persian waves, after that Egyptian sands, then Flanders and France. So 4 different places she has talked in this stanza. Yes, so first she says about Persian waves, and she says in this image we can find out the triangle parts. Yes, there is France, or that is Flanders and France, okay, combinedly. Then you can find out Egypt, and then you can find out Persia there. So these are the different places where the Indian soldiers fought for the Britishers. And these Indian soldiers, they died into that war. So when we move on to this, okay, we come back to the stanza. So silent they sleep by the Persian waves. Means they have died there. Many dead bodies that has not even collected. They haven't noticed by the Britishers. Suppose some soldiers get died, they were left itself, and she talks about the dead bodies. Means see how injustice the Britishers did with Indian soldiers. They are scattered like shells on the Egyptian sand. Okay, in Egypt, some of the soldiers were there in the Persian waves, some of the soldiers were there in Egyptian sands, and they lied there. They scattered like shells. They lie with pale brow and brave broken hands. They lie with pale brow. Means when the bodies would be there, okay, the person dies and no one touches the body, it remains there. Automatically the color of that body changes. It becomes pale brows. And the same thing has been happened with the Indian soldiers. They left there itself, but they were brave. They fought bravely, but then also they lied there. Their bodies were becoming pale, and there were broken hands. Broken hands means some of them died, some of them get injured. They were mutilated, because when we have a war, then definitely there would be the destruction, there would be the death. And these deaths are there, the destructions are there. Many soldiers, some of them's hands get broken, some of them's legs gets broken. So many injuries were there. And in that situation, these soldiers, their bodies, they have been laid in the different places in the foreign. They are striven like blossoms mown down by chance. They are strewn like blossoms. Means see, blossom, it is flowers. Strewn down means cut down. It's by chance, while playing, okay, suppose there is a plant and a lot flowers are there on the plant, and just while playing we cut it down, the flowers, then automatically it get scattered. And how they get scattered? In the same way, her sons, the Indian soldiers, they had been scattered there. Okay, they died by chance. The Indian soldiers, they hadn't given proper weapons by the Britishers. Okay, there also we can find out their culprits. Means they have given less facilities in the war, less weapons, and untechnological also. Means old weapons they have been given, and with that itself they fought bravely with the enemies of the Britishers, not theirs, but the Britishers' enemy. And so that they died there on the blood-brown meadows of Flanders and France. Again, she talks about two different places, that is Flanders and France, and she calls it as blood-brown marrows. Blood-brown marrows means when the war is there, then definitely bloodshed is there, and meadows means the land, the war field, and the war field was bloody. They lied on that bloody war land in the Flanders and France. Okay, so in this way, in the stanza second, she talks about different places where the Indian soldiers fought for the Britishers, and she has given here, she compared it with pearls. Okay, the Indian soldiers, they have been compared with pearls. Then she calls them shells. Then she calls them blossoms, flowers. Okay, so such different similes she has used for that. Now we will move on to the third stanza. Now here in this stanza, she is again communicating to the West, particularly to the Britishers now, or to the Allied forces. Okay. Can you measure the grief of my tears I weep, or compass the woe of the watch I keep? The Mother India, again rhetorically asking questions to the Britishers, to the Allied forces, that if they can measure the grief of her tears. She is weeping, automatically, obviously. Now see, when your sons, your relatives, anyone, your near ones, they are fighting in the war and they are dying there, then everyone would tears up. And the same thing had been happening with the Mother India. She was crying, all collective mothers of India, they were crying for their sons. Can this cry, the tears, the grief, okay, in the mind of these mothers would be understood by the Allied forces or the Britishers? Or can they compose the woe of the watch I keep? Okay, means whatever she is talking, whatever scenery she is discussing. In the second stanza we have seen what the scenery, the dead bodies where they lied here and there. Okay, its color is getting changed, it's becoming pale because no one is giving them the burial. So if we see such an image, then naturally any mother cannot see that. She cannot tolerate it, and automatically can they compass, can they measure, can they experience this grief, these sorrows of the Mother India, okay, who were waiting. Okay, watch I keep means who were waiting for their sons, or the pride that through my heart's despair, and the hope that comforts the anguish of prayers. The mothers in India, the Mother India and the collective mothers of India, they are praying to the God for the betterment, for the safety of their sons. Okay, the Indian soldiers who were fighting for the Britishers in First World War, and their mothers, they were praying to the God. Okay, they had the hope, their hopes was there. Can these hopes would be experienced by the Britishers or by the Allied forces? She is asking the question in the second two lines also. And finally, and the far sad glorious vision I see of the torn red banners of victory. Now see, and the far sad glorious vision, see, there is two different, sad and glorious. Okay, opposition, antithesis is there. Sad also and glorious also. It is sad for someone and glorious for someone, and definitely this vision, okay, the vision of war I see, whatever Mother India is watching, okay, that the vision Mother India has about the war, it was sad for her, but that was glorious for the Allied forces. Yes, so this sad and glorious, it was sad for Mother India, and she says whatever vision I see, it is sad for me and that is glorious for you. What was that vision? That vision was of the torn red banners of victory. The victory would be there for Britishers. The victory would be there for Allied forces. But what about Indian soldiers? What about Indian mothers? What about Mother India? She is losing her son. She is sacrificing her son. But nothing was there. And that's why she is sad in it. Okay. So that is sadness for Mother India, and the glorious things was for the Britishers. And of torn red banners. Torn red banners means this victory, okay, it has been depended on the blood of the Indian soldiers. Torn red banners. And definitely when we have war, then destruction, death, bloodsheds, all these things would be there. So automatically, if you get the victory, okay, when the poem has been composed, it has been composed in 1915. At that time, the war has not yet ended. Okay, so she says, you will get the victory, but that victory would be glorious for you, but not for me. That is not glorious for Mother India. That would be not glorious for collective mothers of India, because they were losing their sons. So this elements she talked about in the third stanza. Now we will move on to the fourth stanza. When the terror and tumult of hate shall cease and life be refashioned on anvils of peace. Definitely there is an end of everything, and the war was going on when she has composed the poem. And now she is hoping something. She is wishing the end of the war. When the terror and tumult of hate shall cease. War means hate. War means destruction. War means death. So when this would come to the end, when the war will get finished, and after that life will become refashioned. Life will become normal again. After the war gets, automatically the life would become normal one, because at the war time there would be so many restrictions, death, destructions everywhere, news and all these things. Nowadays we have corona, it's like a war situation. Yes, everywhere you are watching deaths, you are listening about the deaths and patients, all these things. So similarly, when war time would be there, then at that time also we get such a news of death and destructions. So when it get finishes, then life will become normal. And when the life will become normal automatically, and your love shall offer the memorial thanks to the comrades who fought in your dauntless ranks. Means comrades means soldiers. So when the war get finishes, life will become normal. At that time you will offer a memorial thanks for the soldiers who have fought for you. Yes, every country do the same thing. When there would be the war, and automatically after the end of war, the soldiers who have presented themselves in the war, who fought in the war, who showed their deeds, okay, who sacrificed in the war, they would be awarded. They would be honored and respected by the government. And when you, Miss, she is messaging to the Britishers particularly, because the Indian soldiers, they were fighting by the side of Britishers, and that's why she suggests them, she gives a message to them that if the war finishes, life become normals, at that time you will definitely organize honor, respect would be given to the soldiers who has fought for you. Yes, and you honor the deeds of the deathless ones. Okay, you will honor them, or even whoever died in the war, for them also you will give the honor. So whatever deeds, great deeds the soldiers did in the war, you will honor them at that time. See the final line, remember the blood of my martyred sons. So ending line is that, remember the blood of my martyred sons, means when all these things will happen. Okay, the first 5 lines. So when all these things will happen, at that time my sons Okay, my sons, they are martyred. Means they died for you. They are also martyred, and they must be remembered. Means the honor, respect, and all these things, it must be given to the Indian soldiers who died in the war, who participated in the war, who did great deeds in the war. They should be, they must be also honored. They must be also respected, and the honors and respect should be given to them just like the others. Because at the beginning, whatever has been happened, as we have seen, okay, in the second stanza, the Indian soldiers, they haven't paid any respect. Their dead bodies haven't paid any respect. In the first stanza, we have seen that the dead bodies of Indian soldiers, they arrange mass graves for them. Okay, so this honor and respect that has not given to them in between the or during the war time, but at least after the end of the war, they should be honored. Okay, they should be respected. The prizes or whatever honors you are going to give to your soldiers, to other soldiers, the same thing also must be given to the Indian soldiers. So this is about the stanza 4. So throughout this poem, we see there are many different things she has talked about. Okay, and all the things, means in the first stanza she talks about the gifts given by India to the world. Yes, so and in that we can see there was clothes, food, gold, so many things. We know the spices, then cotton. These are the two things, tea and coffee. So these are some things prominently taken by the Britishers. Before that, Dutch, Portuguese, French, they also have taken so many different things from India. Even before that, the Turkish and Afghanistani, these people, okay, at that time it was Indian subcontinent, means near about Afghanistan, Pakistan was there. Altogether it was an Indian subcontinent. So they looted Indian subcontinent, they attacked. So they also have looted so many things from India. Means India has given so many things to the East and West, means to the world, and that is the tradition of India. And there is a thing, okay, I want to tell you, you might not know. Before the entrance of colonies in India, India's GDP was 25% of the world. What I am saying, 25% of the world. Now it is 5%, 5 to 6. Okay, so it was 25%. It means India was the richest country in the world, and that's why so many countries, so many emperors get attracted towards India, and they came and they have taken so many things from India. And the Britishers looted a lot. The highest loot from India, it was by the Britishers. As I told you, the number 3,371 lakh crore rupees. It's numerous. Okay, so this much that has been taken from India by different countries. And along with this gifts, okay, these are normal gifts that I have already given, but along with that, the Mother India, she has given her sons. Okay, that is the priceless gift that she has given to the Britishers, to the Allied forces. But what happened with them? India has given so many things. Even at the wartime also, India provided food and clothes for the soldiers who were fighting for Allied forces. So many things the Mother India has given. But what happens with them during the wartime? These Indian soldiers who died in the war, they hadn't paid any respect and honor. And she mourns on that. Okay, they died there itself, means in which land they were fighting, and if they died there itself they were buried in a mass graves. No formalities, no ceremonies, no rituals were there for them. just like animals. They have been buried down in the trenches and anywhere. Some of them, they lied. Okay, even they haven't given any burial ceremony also. So they sleep Persian waves. Okay, then the Egyptian sands, then Flanders and France. So at different places, they lied there. Their dead bodies lied there. If someone gets injured, they also lied there with their broken hands, broken legs, and different injuries to the body. So they haven't given any respect, any honor. Yet they fought bravely for the sake of the Britishers, because they are Indian soldiers. And in the next third stanza, she talks about the sorrows of Indian mothers, okay, whose sons were fighting for the Britishers. They were praying. Okay, she is asking for the Allied forces or to the Britishers that whether they can understand her griefs, her sorrows, her tears, because they are waiting for their sons, their children, and nothing is going to happen. There would be the victory, but that victory would be glorious for you, but for me, it means for Mother India or for the Indian mothers, it would be sad one. And in the final stanza, she gives a message. She first of all wishes that the war will come to the end, because war is always dangerous. The destructions would be there. And once the war finishes, war ends, and life will become normal. At that time, every country will organize some programs for the bravery of their soldiers, to honor their bravery, to respect the soldiers who lost their lives in the First World War or the war. And if the same thing happens, even at that time, okay, not during the war, but at least at that time, you should pay respect to the Indian soldiers who died for you, who martyred there in foreign lands. So in this way, we come to the end. Thank you so much.